Hey everyone, it's Mike, and I got a really good question about the Bible recently. The question said, why are children punished for the sake of the Father? Seems kind of messed up, huh? To think that a kid would be punished for something wrong his dad did, but the Bible actually says that in Exodus 34. God is talking about how he loves his people generation after generation. But then he says, I don't leave the guilty unpunished. I punish the children for the sake of the Father. Which seems kind of backwards, doesn't it? Like, it's not right that God would punish a kid for something that his dad did. And you'd be right in thinking that. And the Bible specifically teaches that very thing. In Ezekiel 18, God says that he's not going to take out his anger over sin on a child if the sin was just committed by the father. That each person is accountable for the things that they do before God. But that kind of clouds the issue, doesn't it? What exactly did God mean in Exodus 34? And the short and important answer is this: that God punishes the sins that the children commit because they're taking after their father. You probably heard the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's true spiritually as well. If a child sees his dad or his mom committing a sin, it's very likely he's going to do the same thing. So for example, if a child sees his parents communicating in a sinful way, they're arguing, they're interrupting, they're just trying to win and be right instead of being righteous. Well, when the child grows up, guess how he's going to communicate? He's going to sin, and God is going to take the sin of the child very seriously. Now, for any of you who are parents like I am, this is really important for us to note, that our sins don't just affect us, but they're being seen by our children. My pastor used to tell me that kids will very rarely do what you say, but they'll almost always do what you do. And so if I'm being impatient at home, if I'm yelling at the television set, if I'm worrying about money instead of trusting in God, if I'm drinking too much instead of loving self-control, if I'm viewing pornography instead of fighting for purity, if I'm not loving my wife like Christ loved the church, my daughters are watching. So it's important for us to confess our sins to our kids, to apologize to God. No parent is perfect, and we thank God that he's forgiving and gracious, and he motivates us in so many reasons to want to live a godly life, not just for our sake, but for the sake of our children. It's a really great question. If you have any comments, feel free to comment below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. We have a great question today. The question is regarding fellowship. If you don't know, fellowship is how we deal with one another as